So I wanted to make a quick and easy Halloween Town sign, and you see it at the beginning of the movie when Jack actually comes in as the Pumpkin King. He's holding the sign. So I'm going to use the same foam insulation board, which is essentially a giant piece of styrofoam. The same thing we used for Zero's doghouse. And you can get them in the insulation section in home improvement stores. I went online and downloaded the Nightmare Before Christmas font. You can use any font you want, but there are a lot of free sites out there that'll let you just download it onto your computer. Just taped it on here to get the general size. Now, it needs to be just kind of a square, old, broken piece of wood with the name painted on it or carved into it is what we're going to do, engrave it. And then it's on just an old rickety piece of wood, which we're going to make that out of styrofoam too. So now I'm going to cut out a basic shape of a rough piece of wood. And then I want two of those pieces because I want it to be a little thicker than this 1 inch that I have. So I'm just going to trace that and then cut it out again. Now I'm going to just kind of cut in some indentions to make it look like it's old splintered wood. So I carved out some of the edges, rounded them a little, put some nicks in it, and then painted the whole thing gray. Now the letters are white, so if you're going to paint the letters on, do that last. If you're going to carve out the letters with the Dremel, which was what I'm going to do, we're going to do that as it last as well too, since the styrofoam's white. So we just need to kind of gray wash the whole thing, make some black accents, just make it look like it's an old, really dirty black piece of wood. So I made some wash with just some water and some black paint that I'm going to use in some areas, wipe it off with a rag, grab some more black paint, just kind of start adding paint to see what it looks like. Okay, so after doing layer upon layer of gray wash until I was happy to get kind of a dismal looking board, I put the lettering back on, centered it as best as I could, doesn't have to be perfect. Now we need to get this writing onto the board. We can't really draw on it because it's black, so I cannot find my X-Acto knife and I cannot find the holder for this because my husband does not put anything away where it belongs. So I'm going to be very dangerous and just hold this today. I do not recommend doing this, but if there are any husbands watching, put the stuff back where it belongs. So now we're just going to roughly cut the letters. So it's just going to be a guide for when we peel this paper off and then we grind it out with our Dremel. Alright, here we are after carving the outline of all of the letters. It's a little difficult to see, but it's workable. And now I'm going to take my Dremel with this guard attachment on it and set it to about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to grind out each letter. Here is the finished product once all of the letters have been carved out. I went in with a toothpick and picked out some of the big chunks that didn't come out with the Dremel. Originally I was going to make a big piece of styrofoam that looked like wood is the post, but I needed the sign to be really short because I'm just using it to cover up a floodlight. So I just took a little piece of bamboo that I already had in the house and painted it black and just glued it onto the back. Now it's really, really important when you're choosing your adhesive that you get an adhesive that is safe for foam, board, or styrofoam. If you just get just a regular general glue, it'll probably eat your styrofoam. Same thing when you're choosing your paint. You have to make sure that you don't use a spray paint because it contains acetone and it'll just eat the foam. I chose this piece of bamboo because it does have a hole in the bottom. You can also use a piece of PVC and just paint it black. How we do most of our Halloween projects is, our Halloween props, is we put a metal stake, a metal rod or a dowel rod in the ground, and then we slide the props over top of that post. That way every night we can just slide them off the post and take them inside. So originally we were going to do a long post that looked like a fake piece of wood. So if you still want to do that, you can do it just as easily as we did the sign. Just for mock-up, I'm going to use these two scrap pieces to show you how to do that. So the first thing you want to do is figure out how tall you want your sign. Cut out 2 identical long skinny rectangle pieces of that size. Pretend this is that. Take your piece of PVC, trace it on the inside, cut out a channel that's half the width. Use your Dremel, your box cutter, whatever you need. Then you're going to take your PVC and you're going to glue it on the inside. Close it, and there is your wood stake. That way it's nice and thick. Glue these 2 pieces together, and then this will stay inside, and this is going to be how you stick it onto the post in the ground. Now if you're concerned about your sign turning in the wind, you can make this twice as wide and just put 2 pieces of PVC and 2 rods in the ground and stick it on there, and that way it won't turn. Then you can carve it just the same way we did this one to make it look like an old piece of wood and just paint it up. Glue it on the back, and that's it.